So apparently my sound hasn't been recording that well, so I am wearing one headphone with a microphone in it, and that should, make it a little bit louder. I'm sorry that it's so hard to hear me all the time. I'm having a lot of issues. Anyway, I just within the past hour finished Sherwood Nation by Ben Parzybok. God, got it right here. It is slightly folded because I'm a bad book owner, and it stays a lot of time in my bag. I'm one of those. I'm sorry. Anyway, I was really excited about reading this book because I read Benjamin Parzybok's other book, Couch. I want to say in March. I found it in a used book sale, and it was amazing. I looked at it, and it winked at me and was like, give me a chance, and I was like, yes, I will. So I read it, and it took me about as long as it took me to read this book, which is much longer than it takes me to read most books, but I was enthralled, and I loved it, and I love everything about it, and I still think about it constantly, and just read Couch by Ben Parzybok. Oh my god. It's Parzybok if you're Googling it right now, which you should be. So I found out that he wrote this book, Sherwood Nation, which actually didn't happen that recently, but it's still recent to me because I didn't know it was a thing. So as soon as I got money in my bank account, I'm a poor college student, I went and I bought it on Amazon, and I've been reading it ever since, and it's taken me weeks. But I finally finished it. I don't even actually know what I'm going to say right now because I finished it and I ate dinner, and then I was like, I need to record this video, so I haven't planned much. A good way to describe Sherwood Nation is like a cross between Robin Hood and Tank Girl, which, if you are familiar with Tank Girl, you're probably familiar with Robin Hood, is amazing. And it sounds like a great mix. And it really is. So it's like there's a drought in all of America, most likely all of the world. I'm not entirely sure. They don't speak on it much because there's not that much exposition, which I love. But there's this drought, and the entire thing takes place technically in Portland, Oregon. And it's like there's been all of these different government measures to get people water, but because it's the government, it's gotten kind of crooked. And there's Renee, who used to be this coffee barista. She's like this little Hispanic girl. I love her. She's somewhere in her early 20s, and she joins up with this rebel group to try to show the world that the water company thing is crooked. And I just kind of thought that the book was going to be all about that, and I was excited about it. I was like, yeah, okay, it's going to be all about her trying to show that the government is evil. It's not. It's actually, she takes one water truck, and then they immediately go, oh my god, who is this woman? She's Maid Marian to our Robin Hood. And from then on, she's just kind of a public figure, and she starts making this certain area of the town better, and she winds up seceding these neighborhoods in Portland to make Sherwood, which is, it's Sherwood Nation. And she's just like the leader of this neighborhood country within a country, and it's really good. I've spent the entire time reading it like, okay, Sherwood's gotta get better. Every time there was something bad, I'd be like, oh no, and every time it was good, I was like, yeah, prove them wrong, Renee. It was great. And there's a certain way that Benjamin Parzybok writes where you just feel for every character. He's amazing. I want to write with this man so badly, and I know it will never happen. But he has so many characters in this book, and it's like every single one of them you can't feel one specific way about, which is actually the entire book. You can't just go, okay, this is a super great thing that just happened, or this is a terrible thing that just happened, because everything is mixed. It's so realistic. So there's Renee, and you start off wanting to just love her, but then you start seeing the kind of bad qualities to her hubris and stuff, And it doesn't necessarily make her a bad person. It definitely doesn't make her a bad character. But it means that you can't just completely root for everything Renee. There's Zach, her boyfriend, who once you start seeing like the more weak parts of Renee, you're like, okay, Zach will fix it. And then you're like, Zach, I don't know, you're not always right. And it's like you just can't completely trust anyone. You can't just this book. There's one character that I started hating completely. And the only reason why I was hating him completely was because he went through character development. And the character development brought him, like, way down. And then he wound up coming back up anyway. But it was, like, the best character development, because all of a sudden, it, like, switched the mood of the character. And you were like, wait, you kind of suck. And then he comes back around, and you're like, you still suck, but I'm here for you. I loved the way that he described all of these characters. I loved all of these characters. I love this storyline. And if you're someone else who has read Couch, you'll probably read this and be as happy as I am that there's little allusions to Couch. Like, Renee breaks into this house, and this guy jumps out, and he's trying to pretend that there are other people in the house so that she won't, like, try to rob him, and he yells out, Tom! Eric! And I, like, threw the book, and I was like, Tree? Which, of course, it was not Tree. But Leroy was cool, too. And there was just stuff like that, like, Renee would be sitting on an orange couch, and I was like, I understand. And it just made the experience so much better, because it felt like, not exactly that it was the same world, but it felt like it was a similar experience, because reading Couch was less like reading a book than it was having an experience, and this was having the experience right along with all of these characters. I went through this, and it had like a similar mood to it, because it wasn't all gung-ho, it wasn't all tragic, it was just life, and it was amazing. I feel like there are more things I want to say about this book. I love it so much. The reason why it took me so long to read is partially because I have a lot of schoolwork and stuff, but it's mainly just because the way that Benjamin Parzybok writes, it throws you into his world so much that you can't do the thing that I usually do, which is like, you kind of skip a few words, you like skim certain parts, and there's almost no parts in his writing that you can just do that with, because every paragraph is like a descriptor, even if it's not actually describing anything. It will be like, it changes the mood just with that one sentence, and then if you did skip, then you have to just go back and read it again. There are so many parts of this book that I just read the same pages over and over again, and it wasn't because I was confused as much as I was like, I need to completely get this mood before I move on. And there aren't a lot of authors that can do that. So I really appreciate Benjamin Parzybok, and I think he's amazing, and he's extremely underrated. So please go read Couch, go read Sherwood Nation. Oh my god, I'm so excited I can't actually talk, which is why I should have waited to make this video, but I didn't. So yeah, if you're looking for something to read, you should probably read that. The next book that I'm planning on reading, in case you were wondering, is I picked up a beautiful copy of 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, and I'm gonna really try to read that. I've been carrying the time machine in my bag for about 2 years, and I've only read the first 60 pages, so we'll see. But you know what, fingers crossed, I have high hopes I'm going to read this book. So anyway, if you are looking forward to me reviewing 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, if you liked what you heard here, where I couldn't actually talk like logically about anything that I just read, if you came back because you liked me saying things like dick in the last one, that's gonna happen again. So subscribe, like, follow me on my prompt blog. Oh, and song prompt of the day is something that I want to start doing at the end of every video. So, song prompt of the day is MS by Alt J. Bye.